Hello, Redhawks. In this video, we will be discussing how to use and access the UDOIT accessibility tool in Canvas so that you can begin to make the accessibility changes within your courses to meet the compliance deadline in April 2026. The first thing we'll look at is how to find and run the UDOIT tool. So this tool is available in any course that you want to run it in. Our current recommendation is to work on the courses that will be published next, and that could look different for everyone. If you have a summer shell that you copy over into another summer course, then you would want to make sure that you specifically worked within that summer shell. If you have a master template that you keep on your own dashboard, then you would work there to make sure the accessibility changes were taking place. If the next course you teach is in the fall, then you should be updating whatever course you're going to use to import in the fall, whether that's the previous fall's course or this current term spring 26 course. But we just want to make sure that as we publish materials going forward, that we have all of those up to date with accessibility. If not, they can be flagged and not allowed to run until those updates are done. So how do we get into the tool? We're going to go ahead and select the course we want to work in. And then we're going to scroll over on the side and find the UDOIT tool. Now, if this tool is not there, then we have to do the usual jump to settings. Go to navigation, scroll down, find the tool that we're looking for, and then since UDOIT's already here, we'll just use people as the example, click enable, and that would add it to the bottom of our list. Don't forget to go down and click on save. Now the UDOIT tool can stay active as it's a instructor facing tool only. It's not something that students will see show up in their navigation when they open their Canvas page. So let's go ahead and click on UDOIT. When we get there, it may start to scan automatically, and how long that takes is going to be dependent upon how much content is there. It might take 20 or 30 seconds. It might take several minutes. It is possible the course has already been scanned, but you'll see the date where that happened. So that's always a good thing to check, because if you see that that's out of date by quite a bit, or maybe you've done a lot of work, you might want to rescan it so it's picking up the most recent up-to-date issues. So once we've done this, some description here on UDOIT, a short video on how it works if you're interested in learning more about that from the UDOIT team. We're going to go ahead and get into it and click on continue, which will bring us to our UDOIT dashboard. Now, to kind of make sense of what all these things are for, we'll just kind of work through top to bottom, left to right. You'll see up here you have a course accessibility score. Don't put a lot of weight into what that score says unless it's saying that you're at 100% or near 100%. If you're concerned or interested, you can go here and look at how scoring works. We've kind of adjusted it. What we found was initially some of the issues found in high, medium, and low, the way they are divided up and weighted, you could work on those issues in medium impact, and actually sometimes it would make your score go lower. So we didn't want to make any more confusion or panic than we needed. So we just assumed that everything needed to be done so everything could fit in that high impact range. So when you click there, you'll see all the issues that UDOIT is checking for. These are the major things that are tied to the WCAG standards we've discussed before that should hit the major points in your courses that could cause concern for accessibility. You'll notice down below, it'll show you a content summary and say that the totals may differ depending on scorecard settings. You'll see the total number of errors, see the total number of suggestions. I believe we've explained this before in some different trainings, but just to reiterate, the number of errors, those are things that UDOIT can for certain go in, look at, and say these are not accessible. Suggestions are things that it goes in, looks at. Maybe it can't see every piece of information it needs to make a full determination, but it's stating that those are errors, but to differentiate from the fact that they can't 100% tell, they issue those or call those suggestions instead. Both categories need to be addressed regardless of how they break down, but I know that's a common question. What's the difference between those two things? And then you'll see the file summary. This is going to look at all the files that you have. This is the one change from the old UDOIT tool that we were using, is that it'll kind of look through your files. That includes your PDFs, your Word documents, your Excel spreadsheets, your PowerPoints, all those types of things. So if you see issues over here, that's what those are relating to. You can obviously use this toolbar on the side to access some of your content. This will give you some easy fixes that you can get done with real quick. We'll look at that here momentarily. We'll look at the highest impact issues, which is going to match up with what's in this category here. And then we could break it down by type if we wanted to get more specific. If I wanted to know which color types, which images I had, I could break it down that way as well. One other thing I want to get into before we start to look at what some of these issues are, what do they mean, so we can understand the wording UDOIT is using, so we can figure out how to make the corrections, is when UDOIT scans a course, it scans all the files. So when we get our master report for all courses for the term for the entire college, it shows us everything that's there. The main issues showed to you are things that are considered published and accessible, published and reachable materials. When they say published and reachable, they mean that either the So to dig a little more into that and explain why that's important, I'm going to go ahead and just click on this easiest to fix option. And you're going to see up here at the top, it's going to show active issues, but then it also says hide unpublished content and hide unused content. And then show easiest issues. So this is where you may notice that it says that you have 247 errors, but then when you look at the breakdown, it doesn't add up to the same number. Some of that is because it's either considered One other thing I want to address before we go into the individual issues and how to fix them is understanding the unpublished content portion of UDOIT. Because without knowing this, it can be a little bit confusing as to what some of these numbers actually mean. So when we go into look at one of the reports, I found the easiest way to get to this and kind of see it from this view is to go ahead and click on easiest to fix, even if there's not much there. And you'll see here we have active issues, then it says hide unpublished and hide unused, and then show easiest, which is what we clicked on to get here, so that would make sense as that filter is applied. When it says unpublished content, that just means that you don't currently have it published in your course. Now, there could be a good reason for that, but it could just be something that you haven't used in a long time and you've left unpublished. One of the next videos we're going to put out is going to deal with getting rid of unused content, just to help keep our courses a little more clean and easier to scan for accessibility issues. When it says unused content, what that means is it could be published, but there's no path for the student to access. That means it's not linked in a module. Let's say it's an assignment. It's not linked in a module, and the assignments link in your course navigation here on the left side is not open to students. So there's no way for them to get to it. It doesn't mean that maybe you don't use it at some point. It just means that they don't have any direct path to get to it. So by default, in your view, it's going to hide those things. So you might see that you have a much bigger number up here under the error and suggestions than what shows up if you were to count up the totals here. But what that means is just this total is the stuff that's currently published or being used according to what UDOIT can see. Again, remember, UDOIT's just a tool. It's scanning based off of some learned behavior. It's not going to be able to make every correct call on every single file. It's just going to give you a really good insight into the big places that you need to focus. So I know that issue comes up sometimes. Why do I have a 100% up here, show no errors through this whole entire section, but then down here it still says I have 247 errors and 37 suggestions? It's because that's that unused material, which can be a little bit tricky to find. Like I said, if you just go into one of the reports, and then you can go ahead and remove those filters, and it'll show you all the things that are not currently showing up, and you'll see that you have more items to review there than what you did initially.